And that is why, my lords, my remark this morning is to continue to encourage your lordships. As at the last count, we have only about 140,000 Nigerians that have been called to the Nigerian bar as barristers and solicitors of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. And I mean both those of us that are privileged to be alive today and those that have preceded us, 140,000. Out of these 140,000, I don't think we have up to 2,000 judges and justices that perform the responsibilities that your lordships do on the bench. And I want to say without any fear of contradiction, seated in this room and many others who perform this role that are not here today are the gentlemen and women that have been privileged to be the ones saddled with the responsibility, unique responsibility of keeping this country together by reason of the responsibilities that your lordships discharge. And I say, in other words, that without your lordship sitting here and doing the work that you do, we wouldn't have a country today. So, the bar comes here to encourage you. In spite of all the things that are thrown at your lordships, we say that your lordships are not what the public is told about you. Your lordships cannot be described in the manner in which you are described because we know the responsibilities that you perform. Bad as the perception may be out there, and we take responsibility for most of the things that the public is fed with. As members of the bar, we have failed in our responsibility to educate the public properly. We have misinformed the public about the responsibilities of the bench. We have told the public things slanted to meet or to fit our own sentiments and emotions. And that is what has elicited the kind of reactions that we get from the public. If the public were told exactly what your lordships do, if the public is actually informed about what the law is, truly, without any sentiments, the reactions that we would get from the public will, as a matter of course, be civil. But we have abdicated that responsibility, and that is why your lordships suffer. And so, as the one who is privileged to be the president of the Nigerian Bar Association today, I come to also apologize to your lordships that we have abdicated that responsibility. We have failed in that regard. I just returned from the IBA, my Lord the Chief Justice, and I participated in the session on the rule of law because we are talking about rule of law here, strengthening the rule of law and how the appointment of judges and justices impact on the rule of law. And unfortunately, and sadly too, my heart bled when a senior advocate of Nigeria stood in that room. And permit me, my lords, not to mention the name of this senior advocate, a former attorney general, to talk about how corrupt our appointment process is. Talking about how lawyers collect bribe, mentioned a figure. Of course, I couldn't stand what that senior advocate did. On an international stage, without any evidence, and I have said it times without number, that if you do have any evidence against any judicial officer, the vehemence with which we defend the integrity of judicial officers is the same vehemence with which we will pursue that judicial officer. I've said it previously, and I'm happy the chairman of the EFCC is also here, who spoke confidently and eloquently on the floor of the Senate and made it very clear that as chairman of the EFCC, no one is above the law. If you have your evidence, give it to us. We give it to the chairman. But you are even worse than the person who is alleged to have committed any judicial corruption. If you know of any such judicial corruption and you fail to report it, it is misconduct on your part if you are a lawyer, it is cowardice on your part to hold such evidence and refuse to come forward with it. And my lords, I would end by saying that while we continue to do our bit as the Nigerian Bar Association, we would also call on your lordships to observe very strictly your code of ethics as judicial officers and avoid anything, any conduct whatsoever that would give the appearance of compromise. Because while justice must not only be done, it must be seen to have been done, your lordships also have an additional responsibility to go an extra mile to convince the public that we serve with justice, that justice has actually been done. That is the only way the public would accept the product of what we do, and it is only when that justice is properly served that we will continue to stitch this country together. My lords, I want to appreciate the Speaker for the commitment that he has made, and I send a word to the Speaker that we would hold the Speaker by his words. We already have our advocacy notes that we have put together for the review, upward review of the salaries and allowances of judicial officers. I would send a soft copy of it to you, my colleague, member of the bar, and I'm so proud of you. You are such an illustrious member for the commitment that you have made here. I will consider the Nigerian Bar Association giving you an award. And I say so similarly for the Honorable Minister of the FCT. That is why we probably would have to advocate to Mr. President that when he is considering appointing ministers, he should look the way of lawyers and also life benchers. The Honorable Minister, we thank you for that commitment, and you can see the difference between those in the Senate or the House of Reps and those of us who are lawyers giving responsibility. We do not only just look at the problem and say there is a problem. We fix the problem by providing solutions.